Got on my leather jacket thriller. The show ain't nothing iller. Man, I'm a lady killer. If I want her, I'ma steal her. I promise I can make her fly away like caterpillars. So if you don't know by now, then you should probably get familiar.
Hey everybody, today you're getting familiar with George and I again. Our guest was a Staten Island gym owner, but as soon as he found out that the governor said that he could open his gym on August 24th, he had to race right over and start to retrofit the place so that he could do it. George, I don't know if you heard, governor said 33% capacity in New York gyms, but they also have to retrofit their HVAC system in order to open. Another mandate without any funding or without any offer of help to the small business owner. He's also saying that gym owners have to or people using the gym have to wear masks at all time while they're in the gym. So, he's leaving it up to the mayor or the localities to say when it's going to open or if the gyms are fit to open. In other words, he wants them to inspect those gyms and make sure that they have done and complied with everything by September 5th. And if they haven't, then they can't open, even if they were open.
Yeah, well, with our local elected mayor, I'm sure that's going to be a joy. They're going to do what they did to the Marina Cafe and slap them with a bunch of fines to make up for all the money they blew. It's a little concerning to me.
Yeah.
Well, our local mayor, is not a gem.
Pasquale Massi's asking even Giant Fitness can open. According to the governor's press conference today, if you own a gym and you retrofit your HVAC system according to the standards that the governor is putting forth, and as long as those people in the gym are wearing a mask and you can only operate at 33% capacity, you can open your gyms. So that's going to start on August 24th. I think that what I take exception with is that these gym owners, where are they getting the cash to, no loans offered, no anything. Similar to what they did to the restaurants, George. They said that they could open at a certain capacity, only outside. And I've got to tell you, what's interesting to me is that I was driving around Staten Island this weekend and I noticed all the different restaurants that had outdoor dining. Some of them had tents with flap down, some of them, because of the weather, right? Some of them had built like plexiglass outdoor serving areas. And I was thinking to myself, they spent all this money to open up, and what they did basically was enclose an outdoor seating area. So why is that okay and not opening up at with tables 6 feet apart, interior, like they are in so many other states around the country? I mean, I was in South Carolina, that's how we dined. And contrary to what the news said, there was no rampant COVID running around in South Carolina. So how does it make sense for them to be able to serve inside a tent, but or a plexiglass building, and not inside their restaurants?
I'm going to say something absolutely crazy here. I'm not trying to blow up the restaurant spots right now because they got to take what they can get, but I would think that wind would be a hindrance, not a positive thing. I'm not a doctor. I'm just making some assumptions here, right? But they're outside. It's windy. They're still sitting the same distance apart they would be sitting as if they were indoors. So are they saying the droplets don't carry outside? It's such a confusing message. I can't make heads or tails of it.
And I think that that's how all small business feels, is that we can't make heads or tails out of it. And before we get too far, first of all, I always like to acknowledge people when they say thank you. Pasquale says thank you very much for your answer. You guys are the best, and thank you, Pasquale. Like and share this Facebook Live and get your friends to watch along with you. And we will do our best. We try and keep up on all of the information that's out there. But George, on Saturday, this Saturday, August 22nd, Scott Lebedo is having a rally in New York City outside City Hall Park. And he has some great guest speakers there. But one of the people that are speaking is Ian Smith, who owns Attila's Gym in New Jersey. And many of our viewers might have seen that Ian and his partner have been fighting New Jersey Governor Murphy every step of the way, because they've had thousands upon thousands of people who have been working out in their gym, or visits from their clientele working out in their gym, and not one case of COVID coming out of their gym, and they're tracking everything. So, I mean, I think that, we really need to recognize this, that what I've been saying all along is, with due respect to the governor and the access that he has to information, at the end of the day, small business owners have to keep their clients safe in order for them to have repeat clientele and repeat visits. So it is in their best interest to do it right. And Ian Smith and his partner at Attila's Gym in New Jersey have obviously been doing it right, because whether it's, against the governor's orders or not,
sorry.
What?
Atlas.
Is it Atlas? Okay, I always pronounce it Attila's. But then again, Anna Spilkovskaya is on with us today, and it took me a long time to learn to pronounce that. And Anna, I don't know if I did that right. At any rate, so business owners will do whatever it takes to keep their clients safe and coming back, because if they didn't, they wouldn't have a business. And the governor doesn't understand this. So instead of Murphy giving these guys a hard time, why didn't Murphy bring them in and say, okay, what did you do to keep your customers safe? Because it's clearly working. Your clients have been coming in now for months, and there are no new COVID cases amongst your clients. So what have you been doing to keep them safe? And let's replicate that for every gym, in New Jersey and in New York and wherever else gyms are not open. Because I can tell you that Planet Fitness was open while I was in South Carolina. Planet Fitness was open. We continued to use it. No new cases of COVID at Planet Fitness. So clearly somebody is doing something right. Why is government busting the chops of small business?
Yeah, I'm at a loss. I wish I had an answer for you. It astounds me, and the logic. Nothing's consistent. If they would just have a consistent message, I think we would all be able to swallow it better, whether it was right or wrong. But you have a situation where they can open up their gyms at 33% capacity. Why on God's green earth can't you open up your restaurant at 33% capacity?
Absolutely.
It doesn't add up in my brain. It seems it's not logical. It doesn't compute.
Well, it goes back to, and of course I'm going to get, slams for being a conspiracy theorist, but I'm sorry, when you start restricting the movement of the general public and telling them what they can and can't do, if you keep it going long enough, the general public becomes zombies. They become, they're just going to follow your rules and regulation because you took everything away from them, and then you dribble it out little by little, and as if you're doing a favor and giving them a great favor. And this is what we've been seeing, especially in the tri-state area, in New York and New Jersey and Connecticut and other areas, and I dare say blue states, where people's freedoms have not been the number one concern. They acted quickly, they locked us down, and then they kept it going longer than it should. And in my opinion, it was to break us. And I fear now, George, that New York City's broken. I think that the spirit of New Yorkers are broken, and many are fleeing.
New Yorkers are bailing by the thousands right now, and we have a governor inviting them back to have a cocktail, and a mayor telling them, "Good, you're not a New Yorker anyway. We don't need you." This is the city that we live in, and our tax dollars, and those tax dollars of yes, the evil rich people, right? The evil rich people were a big part of how we were able to fund those social programs here in New York City. So I'd like to see the face of New York City in 5 years. It's going to look like, to me, I am envisioning 1970s New York.
I think it's going to be worse than 1970s New York, George. You know why? Because what's happening is that people who are in need have been flocking to the city in droves because they know that the mayor will the social programs that are available to them are just so robust. And now they're here. Right. And so the goal for the city council and the mayor and the governor is to take care of the indigent, to take care of those people who've now relocated here. And we saw them come. They came to do the protests in City Hall Park, and they came from everywhere, and they set up camp there. And now they're set up on the streets of Manhattan in the Upper West Side, Upper East Side. They're shooting up drugs, and the mayor put a lot of these new homeless into hotels, into 4-star hotels, by the way. And now they're the homeless who, many of them suffering from mental illness or from or sexual predators. They are now roaming the streets, getting high, beating people, stabbing people, shooting people, and the regular New Yorkers who have invested their time, energy, and sweat into the city are leaving because they can. Anna says, how many new cases from all the protests and looting? There was no social distancing at those. And she's also saying that she thinks the lockdown allowed us to be one of the states that doesn't have high incidence of COVID right now, but at the same time, there's no common sense approach or planning to the small business economy. I heard those people, she's saying that the people in City Hall Park call themselves abolitionists. Anna, let me just say something to you. Here's the thing. The governor announced proudly today that we now have the lowest incidence of COVID in any state in the nation. Okay, now New York went from the highest to the lowest. So we hit that bar a long time ago, but yet he's dribbling out our ability to reopen in doses. Instead of saying, okay, we know what we have to do here. We wear your mask, social distance, blah, blah, blah. Instead, he's treating us like incorrigible children, and he is dribbling out what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do. And God forbid anybody steps out of line. The penalty for that is a swift kick and a huge fine. We can't survive like that. This is New York State. We are the best state and best city in the world, right? Or the best city in the world. And yet we haven't been able to get our head around this. He'd prefer to keep the numbers low than trust us.
Well, why do you think it is that we were the worst and now we're better?
Well, my opinion, I think that we're better because New Yorkers understand how to acclimate. I think that we're better because we got the message. Wear the mask, social distance. And I think that while I applaud the governor for his efforts, I also think that it's running its course, this disease.
Well, herd immunity is kicking in, is what I see. I mean,
yep.
If I have a little short video, we always talk about these things. Maybe we should show, explain to the
Yeah, show
audience
it,
what
show
herd
it.
immunity is
Because
and
the
what
New York Times
vaccines are?
today said that we were going to be ahead of schedule. And I think that we're seeing that, especially in the big cities.
Let me bring up that article too, because not only did they say that we're ahead of it, right? It's closer than scientists thought. They're saying let me just see if I can. Now researchers are wrestling with a hopeful possibility in interviews with the New York Times. More than a dozen scientists said the threshold is likely to be much lower to achieve herd immunity, just 50%, perhaps even less. If that's true, then it may be possible to turn back the coronavirus more quickly than one thought.
And
This
And
is
that would mean more people exposed, develop more antibodies, and in condensed cities such as New York, with 8.5 million people, it's conceivable that more people were exposed and are asymptomatic and have developed those antibodies.
Yeah, so let's just explain to everybody what herd immunity actually is, because you hear the term thrown around, but I like to define things, you know me. So
Yep.
this is a little video, real quick. It'll explain what herd immunity is, how it works, and I think it shows my point as to why New York's got slammed, and now we're doing better. So the more people that get it, the more herd immunity we have. So have a look.
What is herd immunity? Picture a community or herd of healthy people. An infectious disease would pass easily through the community from person to person. Vaccines train our immune system to protect us from diseases it hasn't come into contact with before. For example, the MMR vaccine provides immunity against measles, mumps, and rubella. During an outbreak of a disease, vaccinated people will remain healthy. As they won't become infected, they won't pass the disease on. When most of the community is vaccinated, it makes it difficult for the disease to spread within the community. This is called herd immunity. If more people within the community remain unvaccinated, herd immunity can break down, allowing the disease to spread more easily. Herd immunity is especially important for individuals in the community who can't be vaccinated. For example, if they're too old, too young, or have weak immune systems.
So basically, right? I mean, herd immunity is either done through a vaccine or through or through people contracting the disease. New York had, I don't know what the numbers are anymore. I'm number numb, but we had so many people, that got the disease that that shield is up in some areas and it's growing. So unfortunately, I'd rather it be through a vaccine, but it's also through contraction. So it's important for us to understand that and think twice when you say the restaurants aren't going to open till June, Mayor de Blasio, you idiot. You can open up a gym, you can open up a restaurant, you can be safe, you can open a limited capacity and give these poor small business owners a little breath because they don't have one right now.
They don't have one right now. So to answer your question, 430,000 cases of COVID in New York State. Out of that, 235,000 cases were in New York City, with 32,424 deaths. So that's what we were facing in New York. You can find that information on the CDC website and compare it to other states. I think that we did what we had to do. We flattened that curve. We jumped through all the hoops that we were told to jump through. And now that we've been flat for a long time, we need a plan, right? We need a plan because the governor has been, he said today, he was talking about school openings, but it's still up to the locality about how they're going to open schools. The teachers union has said that they don't want to open schools. The mayor's going after the teachers union. I can tell you, I know you're girlfriend has children. My grandson is, living with me. I still don't know what the hell is going on. Are all the public schools closed? Are all the Catholic schools open? How are we going to handle this? I mean, how about those poor children who need in school, in classroom teaching? The children, when I say poor, I don't mean economically poor. I mean disenfranchised. The children who are special needs, who need to see their teacher, talk to their teacher, and learn that. How are they going to get taught? Are they going back full time? Is it every other day? And if it's every other day, what happens to the parents that should be working? Who's going to be responsible for handling this?
Thank God Gina got a work from home job by sheer luck. But without that work from home job, and the Catholic school gave her, St. Peter's, her son goes to St. Peter's, they gave the most convoluted schedule I have ever seen in my life. If you're an A, B, or C student, you go in, it's like a 6-day rotation, because it's not an even number of weeks. So every week is a different day of the week that you're gonna have to be in class versus when you're studying from home, and it's gonna alternate and change constantly. This is insanity to me. I mean,
these aren't plans. This is chaos. It's chaos. And you can't even say it's organized chaos, because the ramifications for what will happen to the children, the families, the parents, their jobs, all of that, or none of that is being considered when we're being told this is, what you're going to do now, and this is how you're going to educate your children. It's just the same as with the restaurants who incurred all of that cost for creating these outdoor dining, which, by the way, ends in October. So, what happens after that? Same as with these gyms that are now going to have to incur all of these costs for the HVAC system. And, oh, by the way, so if gyms are allowed to be open, and if as you say, why then can't restaurants be open? And how come the malls, on Staten Island, our mall had incurred a tremendous cost for retrofitting their HVAC system, yet they are still closed. So, and where are all these inspectors coming from? And are they really trained in knowing what the heck they're doing? I mean, do we really have these types of inspectors? We know you mentioned the Marina Cafe. Well, the inspector went in there and claimed that they were, people didn't have masks. And then they went on to discuss that the marina had a tent and a pool, which it does not. So what are these inspectors looking for when they
hit people violations? Did with the marina too? They said that people didn't have food because they took away their plates.
Right.
They bust them. So Gina and we celebrate our anniversary there every year because that was our first day. We went to the marina Saturday, and they had to leave the plates on the table. This is the insanity that we're dealing with. Like, just in case an inspector comes in, I got to leave a pile of dirty plates on your table.
And think about that. That's crazy, because we have people that have no concern whatsoever for what makes business go, making decisions about how to run the business. And this is the problem, not only in New York, but it's a problem across the country. You have lifetime politicians who have only ever known service as an elected official, or as the staffer of an elected official, or as somebody who was part of government. They're making the decisions for how small business should operate, and with no input whatsoever from small business owners. And that is dangerous, because we know what other governments have been running business, right? Let's take a look at Cuba. Let's look at Venezuela. Let's look at China. I mean, these governments run the business. People don't own their businesses outright. The government is more than their partner. They're really the only entity that can own a business. And what is happening there? There's no service there's no service to the people. So you went to Marina Cafe. Let's get this straight, right? So you went to Marina Cafe, which I love, and I was actually part of one of your celebrations one year with Gina, and it's a beautiful place. Been there for 40 years. Has a gorgeous tiki bar outside, and is known for the quality of service and the food that they serve their patrons, and people come back over and over and over again. So you went there and you spent what? Couple $100 on your bill?
$250, I think.
Okay. To eat a great meal and then to remain there with dirty dishes in front of you. You couldn't linger and maybe have two more drinks or some, whatever, and chat with your sweetheart.
No, because Corona knows that I'm done eating. COVID knows I'm done eating, obviously. I mean, that's clearly the message I got out of it, is that COVID understands that I'm just having a cocktail. And what I hear a lot of people saying is, if you're drinking, you're less responsible. I hear this all over the place. That's why it's dangerous, right? I'm trying to search for the other side of this story.
Okay.
So you're drunk, you're more dangerous. And I've heard this too. If you're at a Trump rally, you're probably not wearing a mask, but if you're at a protest, you probably are. It's more say, cut the shit, people. Just cut the crap.
That's
Enough already. Listen, we all get drunk and we all get stupid. I understand what you're saying, but everyone is sitting at their table without a mask to begin with, because you can't eat through a mask. So what's the difference? You're sitting at your table. People aren't up and mingling. They don't allow it. You're not allowed to be at the bar standing there having a cocktail. The rules are clear. So don't hand me bullshit lines. I hate hearing those excuses. Well, you're not responsible. Well, you're not wearing a mask, drunk or not drunk.
Well, let me just go one step further. During COVID, all the liquor stores remained open. So, and they still do now. So what's to stop somebody from getting drunk in their home and walking the streets and being less responsible? Nothing. If that was true, if the reason that food has to accommodate booze is because you're acting less responsibly, now they're mandating our actions as well. Not just what we could go buy or anything, but now we're looking for actions. And oh, by the way, would we have been able to flatten the curve? Because are you telling me that every alcoholic sobered up due to COVID and didn't go and have a couple of drinks at home and walk the streets? I mean, come on. This is freaking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And the governor mandated that liquor stores were deemed essential. Liquor stores were deemed essential during COVID, but a stationery store, a clothing store, beauty parlors, nail salons, none of those were deemed essential. And so, just to answer the ridiculousness of your question, George, I just wanted to remind everybody that, you can get drunk at home and still walk the street, and many people do.
Yeah.
So
it's just a lot of crazy thinking that's going on. You could sit down, but you have to have something more substantial than wings. Does anyone vet this guy's speech, Cuomo, before he says stuff like that? Is anyone going, no, don't say it like that, Governor Cuomo. Please don't say it like that. Who's to tell me what I'm going? Now the government. So why am I a conservative or a Republican? I want less government, because government sucks at running things, like you said. You can't show me a case where the government is running something and it's humming along like a clock. Yeah. It just doesn't happen. I trust the public sector, because it's not only about votes for the public sector. It's about their bottom line, their dollars, and taking care of their business, which is an ecosystem all to itself. So we just need to stop the insanity and stop government from intervening in our life. Cuomo's mandate now are we still under his martial law, or has he lifted that?
No, we're still under martial law, where his emergency executive actions, and that's what's even more insulting. We no longer have a representative government in the state of New York. Our state assembly and our state senate is not allowed to be involved in these decisions that are really, affecting our lives. And there have been a number of elected officials who have been calling on the governor to end the executive orders. But it's to no avail. I mean, I truly am starting to believe that Cuomo enjoys holding those 90-minute press conferences every day, where he can, try to explain to us stupid people what's actually going on, because he knows so much better. Remember, the man has never created a job in his life. He grew up in government, and he is in charge of telling small business how to act in order to get customers and in order to do their business in New York State.
And the revenue from those businesses and those people are going to pay his people and the jobs that he needs to get done at the state level. So it's an insult. It's just an absolute outrageous insult to every business owner. We're treated like crap. And, you and I both know we have our heart and soul on the line with this business, right?
Absolutely.
Somebody came in and swept
our heart, our soul, our home, our mortgage, our personal belongings, all of it is on the line.
We're a lucky one, right? We're one of the lucky ones. We could survive through COVID because of our digital aspect of what we do. But, live events, concerts, all that work that we used to do is gone. And thank God we could pay our bills and not go under, right? But half of these businesses are going to go under. And anyone who trivializes that, to me, deserves a slap, because my life and my soul went into this business. Sometimes you don't have a choice too. All your eggs are in one basket when you're a small business owner, because you just don't have time to do anything else. It's your life and your family's life.
It's your baby. Hey, listen, the Vaughn Agency is our baby. And, here's some horror stories that I have heard. I understand from one of our clients that in the capital region, there was a liquor store that has operated from family to family for 83 years. 83 years without one violation from the state liquor authority. And the husband was at the cash register. The wife was in the storeroom in the back. Husband had his mask on. Wife came out of the storeroom thinking the place was empty, and she didn't have her mask on. And the state liquor authority instantaneously slapped them with a fine for, well, they said $1,500 if they pled guilty right there and signed the paperwork. And if they didn't, they would have to then go before the state liquor authority and bear the costs and risk anywhere from $10,000 to $40,000 fine. Now, the only thing she did was mistakenly walk out without her mask. Why wasn't that a warning? I mean, you're the inspector, right? You're the inspector. You see what happened. When you walked in, you were the only one there. So why slap them with a fine? I heard of another place where
they need the money.
So 83 years without a violation in front of the SLA. Another restaurant, their patrons were sitting. The rain came down. The sky opened up during this recent monsoon we had during Hurricane Isaias, and the patrons got up and ran into the building to stop it from getting wet. Well, they got a fine. Now, let me ask you something. What were they supposed to do? Let all the patrons leave, go to their cars without paying their checks? What was the restaurant owner supposed to do?
That is probably what they wanted you to do, and that's probably what they wanted. That's probably what they'll say anyway. The way this world is rolling.
Yeah, but that it makes no sense. And the inspector had the ability to figure out what to do next, and that inspector did the wrong thing. They slapped him with the fine, and they paid the fine, and they're open for business now. But it's like the speed cameras, George. It's, instead of telling you all, okay, if you want to open up, I want you to give me $25,000, insurance. They're chipping away at the small business owners to try and balance the budget on their backs. And that is just reprehensible. Not only is it reprehensible, it's dangerous. Because if the small business owners leave, and we've already seen retail's left, consulting services have left, we don't have a need for it anymore. Now the construction industry isn't even, operating at full tilt. What's going to be left in New York City? What kind of businesses?
And did I hear a rumor that because of all the dying retail, they're thinking of repurposing all these buildings to give away as housing? Is that something that I heard?
I don't know if it was giveaway as housing, but I can tell you it was to use for residential housing, and with affordable housing being a large component of it. And it makes sense that that's all that they can do with it, because if businesses, look, businesses, if your business is located in a large commercial building, you have to get your workers up to their floor, and you have to get them up quick, right? So in these elevators, the way they're designed, they're designed to hold a lot of people and to get them up to the offices quick. Well, now, if you have a commercial entity and you are going to bring all your people back to work, you're going to need double the space than you did before because of social distancing requirements. You're going to need to cut in half the number of people, or even more, even less, the number of people that could get into an elevator at a time to get up to your floor. It's just not feasible. So on the other hand, you could save yourself a lot of money by saying, look, we've been surviving with people working from home anyway. Let's reduce the space we take.
That's what's going to happen. Yeah, no question to me.
And you know it from our own offices, right? What did we have to do to social distance everybody in our offices? We're taking up more space than we ever took before. Yeah. And there's certain requirements that you've got to take care of. Now, wouldn't it be so much easier to say, hey, look, we operated from home. We don't need a physical location anymore. We cut on our insurance. We cut on our rent. We cut on our utilities. We cut on all these hard costs that are associated with an entity like ours. And the same goes for any commercial entity in New York. So there's no doubt that people are going to start breaking their leases, their commercial leases, and start virtual offices because they've been able to do it so far. And when that happens, the question becomes, does anybody really need to live in New York City to still have the ability to work for these New York City companies? Do the companies need to?
The answer is no. They're flocking out of here at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I don't blame them. We're going to see a change in the landscape, like I think you said it to me. Big cities are a thing of the past. I should mention, we don't have it up on our screen, but Connie Barone said it's all about the money. Lynn Carlotti-Era, did I say that right, Lynn? Says hi and wishes us well. Thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Like and share, please. You can invite people to watch this with you down at the bottom. You can share the show and create a watch group and invite your friends to watch as well. So please like and share. It's important that we get other people to know that we have some great experts here, and you can help us become or gather more viewers and become more successful, and then we could do some more of these shows. So George, the question I guess that I have is, we're starting the Democrat National Convention is actually occurring as we speak, and the three speakers today that I want to mention are Bernie Sanders, Andrew Cuomo, and Michelle Obama. Now, we have seen Joe Biden go from a vice president that had some moderate points of views to going all the way to the left, and actually talking about adopting the Green New Deal, actually talking about keeping people with masks for the next 3 months. Talking about retarding people's movement throughout the country. He has been showing at every stretch of the Medicare for all or Medicaid for all, whichever one that you want to look at. He's been showing since he got the Democratic nomination that he is willing to go left along with Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and the others to bring our country more to the radical left than to the moderates that moderate guy he kind of was before. But we've also seen that he's like a chameleon. He'll just do whatever he wants to do. He'll say whatever he has to say to get himself elected. So he chose Kamala Harris as his vice presidential pick. And the New York Times said that she was a moderate. Yet, if anybody has really looked into her record, we see that Kamala, too, is, for Medicaid for all and for dismantling the private health insurance that we all have. And they're doing it by trying to sell to us that socialism isn't so bad. It's just not that bad. And we see it in the kids rioting in the street. That's what they're looking for. We hear it from Warren, from Bernie Sanders. So let me ask you, George, do you trust that the Biden-Harris ticket is not going to take us leaping head first into socialism?
No, I think that they're going to do what they've said they're going to do. Harris is an interesting choice. I thought it was actually a terrible choice, but I know you like her. Well, for him, not in general. I think.
I like her because I think she's qualified. I mean, I'm not going to vote for her, but I think she's qualified.
Well, yeah, she is. I'll give you that. Both of these candidates have clearly gone against the message of the left, in my eyes. Camilla Harris has more marijuana convictions under her belt. That's I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood, and someone could correct me, 1,500 low-level drug convictions. The exact thing that she is telling us is breaking America, right? We're putting away, and by the way, I don't disagree with that. I don't think that marijuana is something that, if you get arrested, should ruin your life. But don't pretend that all of a sudden you're the let everybody go candidate. You single-handedly put away 1,500 low-level marijuana dealers. And now you're saying how horrible the system is. And then you have Joe Biden, who has said some of the most abominable racist things I have ever heard from a candidate, albeit early in his career, because he's had, a 45, 43-year career. But in the beginning of his career, he tried to stop busing programs. He tried to stop segregation in general every turn he got. He came into politics not as nearly as rich as his family is today. So what does that tell you? He has a job that pays him a decent salary, right? When you're a Senate, I don't know what they make at Senate and Congress. It's $100,000 to $200,000 a year, somewhere in there. And now his family is filthy rich. Now they're filthy rich after he got into politics. To me, all of these things scream against what the left has been screaming at us. And we're supposed to take these two candidates seriously? I can't do it. It's hypocrisy. It's the most hypocrisy I've ever seen.
Well, Biden's salary is $174,000 a year. That's what senators make. So I presume that he is getting a pension. I'm sorry. No, that's a lie. I'm going after. I'm saying Senate. He would have a pension as a vice president, right? What is the pension for?
I'm not talking about that money. He has more money than that job and that pension could allow.
Oh well, he actually, I think his tax return showed that he made $4 million last year.
To me, that screams against what the left is all about.
Right.
Rich, old, white people having their voice. This is what's been screaming to me.
His pension as a vice president was $235,000 a year, and he managed to rack up a tax return of $4 million, and that was from speaking engagements. So that's what happens to a lot of these elected officials. Bill and Hillary, had a ridiculously low pension, or Bill Clinton did, coming out of Alabama and as governor, and then he became president. And when he got out, he was making millions in speeches, millions, even more than Joe Biden made last year.
This is from Forbes. Today, Forbes estimates Biden, and I don't even know when this article was. This is 2019, August.
Okay.
Biden, 76, and his wife Jill are worth $9 million. Their fortune includes 2 Delaware homes valued at $4 million combined, cash and investments worth another $4 million, and a federal prison worth $1 million.
Oh, wait, what? A federal prison?
A federal, sorry.
A federal pension. I was going to say, wait.
A federal pension.
Maybe that's why Camilla was sending people to jail for low-level crimes.
Yeah. So to me, and again, someone validate that crime number, but I think I heard 1,500 on Camilla. To me, these are all the people that the Democratic Party is saying should not be in charge. So now they're fighting for them.
But when you go down the list, George, how about the movie stars that support the Democrat Party? How about the fact that Hollywood you must be a Democrat to be in Hollywood? What about the millions of dollars that these Hollywood stars have? What about all of these? What about George Soros, who gives generously to try to get district attorneys and elected to office so that he can reduce the people that are being put away? I mean, George Soros, who we got, the owner of, I forget his name now, the owner of that football team that's always fighting with the Fox News guy. I'll think of his name in a minute. But we have so many rich people who represent or give to the Democrat Party, but yet the Democrat Party pretends that they're for the people. It's bullshit.
Yeah. And let's just take a deep look at Hollywood for 1 second and the incestuous child pornography craziness that comes out of Hollywood. Heavy duty, right? Heavy duty. And these are the people standing up and telling me what my morals should be. You can shove it. I literally could. I'm done with I don't want to hear from a single actor. I don't want to hear about it. Just do your job, and hopefully you don't get caught like Harvey Weinstein. I guess that's the way I look at Hollywood now.
Well, I guess here's the point I was trying to make when I started talking about what's going to happen at the Democrat National Convention. I hope everybody watches, and I hope everybody listens to these speeches, and I hope everybody takes note of who's there and who, and whether or not there's entertainment, piped in or not. But don't. They're all going to say to you, one after the other, that the 1% should not control, America, and that your rights are being retarded because, the 1% and the powerful get everything. And we need to be a more humane country. And we have systemic racism, and we keep the little men down. And, we need a fair wage for a fair day's work. And they're going to give it to you. No, that's wrong. Take a look at Venezuela. Take a look at Cuba. Google the meaning of socialism / communism. Take a look at China. We did this for you on Friday. So in case you didn't see it, go back to Friday's show and take a look at the modern day slavery and the countries where it's practiced. It's practiced in North Korea. It's practiced in China. It's practiced in India. It's practiced in so many third world countries, which these Democrats are saying, let people in, whether they are legal or not legal. And you have to ask yourself, if socialism worked and if communism worked, then why are people risking their lives to get here? The fact is, it doesn't work. And socialism and communism, it instills the power, or it takes care of the powerful, but the divide between the haves and the have-nots is greater and greater and greater. And if you're not sure, look at what Bill de Blasio did to the city, right? He came in and said, I'm going to end the tale of two cities. Well, he made that gap so wide that we're more separate than ever before, and there's less ability for the middle class, the working class people, to achieve their American dream in New York City than ever before. But in the meanwhile, the very, very poor, or those that have chosen not to work, and I'll say there are some people that choose not to work, and the very, very rich continue to take a paycheck the whole time that this COVID lockdown has, been going on, because the rich are able to pivot, and the people who are on welfare and on Social Security, disability, and who are homeless and can collect everything, they're eligible, and yet we have construction workers, who owned companies, who maybe did the wrong thing and worked off the books, or had their employees work off the books. They're now standing in line to get free food because, their companies are under, and, they can't make ends meet. And that is what socialism does. The government starts to run your business. You don't have any say in it. The gap widens, and the working people, that's it. We're gone. And that we're seeing that already.
Yeah, I mean, the whole taxing the 1% plan is not really, understood by a lot of people. I know that it's going to affect small to medium-sized businesses too. We're financially, if everything goes the direction we're going to head to, hello Scotland for the rich, right? Because Scotland's got a very attractive setup for rich people. Why would I run my company here in the United States of America?
That's
If
right.
I can make, with the same amount of effort and work, I can make more money working the same in Scotland than here in the United States. Why am I going to keep my fortune here? People miss this point all the time. It drives me nuts. You have to make it attractive for the rich to be rich, because one day, hopefully, I'll be one of them. That's the American dream, and very few people reach it, but heck, that's a fun ride. I love being a small business owner. Maybe one day I'll own the planet, maybe I won't. But, the dream's being killed. It's being squelched, and it'll live in Scotland soon.
So Margie Mastro Marino is asking for us to talk about the rally on August 22nd. And Margie and Red Storm Drum and Dance Troupe will be there, and they'll do some drumming to close out the rally, to bring some peace and goodwill for all those working men and women that are going to be standing up at this rally. It is on August 22nd from 12 noon to 3 p.m. It is at just outside City Hall Park. And what it is about, what the purpose is that patriot artist Scott Lebedo, who some of you may know, has been singled out by Department of Transportation because he painted a blue line across along a median in Staten Island, New York, and that blue line was to bring a little bit of comfort to our police department in New York, because as Scott says, they've been demoralized, and they needed to know that the community supported them. Scott decided to finally do what everybody has been requesting, because he's been hearing the bitching and moaning and carrying on of everybody, including us, about this mayor. And this rally is to say to the mayor, either fix your agenda to take care of the regular men and women who live and work in New York City, or get the hell out of the way and let somebody else do it. And so he's literally calling on the ouster of the mayor if the mayor doesn't get with the program. And, he wants to take back the city from this socialist agenda that we have been seeing, this agenda that the working men and women and the small business owners and our police and our teachers and our FDNY, they don't matter. They don't matter to this mayor. And so that's the purpose. The purpose is to show him that the regular men and women are going to stand up for their rights. And ladies and gentlemen, you need to be there, because if you're not there, what will it look like that protesters, even though they're well-funded and well-organized, can get across the country to start protesting in various neighborhoods, but we, the working men and women, cannot stand up and tell our mayor that you have overstepped your boundaries, and we are tired of you treating us like ATMs, whether it be with, speed cameras, whether it be with keeping our restaurants closed, whether it be with, taking our money and then redispensing it to people that don't even live in New York City, that come here.
Citizens of the United States of America. That's the most disturbing part to me.
That's right. Aren't citizens of the United States of America. So it's your opportunity to make our voices heard. And maybe, George, you'll put up the flyer so that you could see who our speakers are going to be. This is just a few of the speakers that will be there. Curtis Sliwa, Ed Mullins, Ian Smith from the Atlas Gym. We're going to have many people. John Tobacco, wherever you are, John, will be there. We'll have somebody from the teachers, from teachers who want to get back to work, from the real estate industry, from the construction industry, and from Tony Herbert, our brother Tony Herbert with Advocates Without Borders. We are Joe Piscopo. We are fed up, and we want the mayor to hear us. Either get straight and start supporting our police and our working men and women of New York City, or get out of the way and let somebody else do it, because we can't keep on the way we are.
My dad had my favorite phrase of all time: lead, follow, or get out of the way. It's time for you to get out of the way, sir.
It's time for him to get out of the way. That's true. And so that's what's going on Saturday. You could sign up for, if you want to get on a bus to go, sign up at scottlebedo.com. There's a registration form for buses. There will be several locations for buses. If you have a group and can organize yourselves, please send a note to scottlebedo.com, and we'll work with you to get you there. If you want to volunteer, go to scottlebedo.com and and tell us that you want to volunteer. It's, we've been sitting home, George, and watching protesters on the news tear apart our cities. Tell us that as Americans, we should get on our, as white Americans and Americans of any color, we should get on our knees and apologize for our privilege while they burn and loot, the businesses that working men and women have worked years to build up. This is our message back to them that, this is not going to be tolerated in New York City. We're too great and we've worked too hard, and we're not going to let this mayor continue supporting an agenda without hearing what the real people want.
Yeah, amen. America's, one thing was promised in the Constitution, opportunity, right? And we worked a long time, 100 years, more than 100 years, to abolish slavery and level the playing field for opportunity. So, we've elected a black president. That should show everyone that we are not systemically racist in the United States of America, right? For some reason, that's the narrative that likes to be pushed. So get out there, and again, this is as Scott's flyer. Wait, where's the other flyer? Because the other flyer, here. What did he put on there?
This is your bleeping city.
Black, white, brown, yellow, gay, straight, Muslim, Jew, Catholic, law-abiding citizens, New Yorkers with a pulse.
Yep.
That's how I feel about it.
That's
too.
it.
We're
it's
all,
a
we're
Saturday.
All
Yeah, it's a Saturday. My dog decided to wake up. It's a Saturday. It's at 12 noon. It's this Saturday coming. Be there, share. I have the flyer on my Facebook page. Scott has it on his. Sign up. Let us know you're coming. It's going to be a fantastic opportunity for all of us to stand together as New Yorkers and say, hey, it's enough, de Blasio. It's time to move out of the way. So, George, great show today.
Thanks, Leticia.
Let's get back to work, everybody.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking in with us.